We are back on MorningLine. Nick Barris here. First live show of the new year.
Yep.
Happy New Year, everyone. Allison Fields with us. So nice to have her with
Thanks.
us.
Good to be here.
We've got the phone lines open, 737-7587. I was explaining to her that we've got the lines open. If you want to jump in, you're free to join us. We've gone for 2 weeks, basically, with taped shows. We're back from the new year. So
Got to get everybody back in the habit of calling.
Getting the ball rolling.
Yeah.
But if you have a question about your dog, your cat, your bird, perhaps no venomous snakes, potbelly pig, would that count? Is that okay?
Well, sure. I don't see them, but we see them at my practice.
Hamsters?
We see those at my practice.
Do you like teddy bear hamsters?
They're very cute.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They really are.
Teddy bear hamsters, guinea pigs. Well, I wonder what the hot, all right, first of all, what is the, in terms of breeds, what breeds dogs do you see the most of? Now, it goes through trends where you've got very, very popular dogs for a period of time, sometimes in conjunction with a movie.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think now? Is that,
now I think honestly the mutt is the big trend.
Sure.
When I got out of vet school, the big thing were Dalmatians, because 101 Dalmatians had just come out, the remake, you know, with Glenn Close, I think.
Oh, yeah, right.
And which was so sad, because Dalmatians are really, they're great dogs, but they really need a special owner. They need a very active owner. They need lots of running around and exercise, and so they're not your couch dog like a golden retriever might be, or and so they're not necessarily a fabulous family dog. And lots of kids got Dalmatians for Christmas, and there was a very high, back in 2001, 2002, there was a really high incidence. I mean, you could go to almost any shelter in the country and find a Dalmatian.
What is it about Dalmatians and being deaf?
Well, deafness is linked genetically on chromosomes very closely to color.
Okay.
And so the all white is right next to all white is where deafness is, and so all white is almost always results in a deaf animal. Dalmatians are basically all white with just a tiny bit of black which are those little spots. Right. So they can be deaf. They don't have to be. White boxers a lot of times, which that's not a white boxer is not kind of the standard, and a lot of times they'll be deaf. They also seem to have blue eyes. And dogs that don't typically have blue eyes, when they have blue eyes, a lot of times they can be deaf as well.
Another one of those dogs I had mentioned last time, I think you had come on, was a white, I guess kind of like a white lab. She's a mix, and she's in the shelter, and she's deaf. It's very hard to find an owner for a dog like that.
They're great dogs.
It's unfortunate. They're wonderful, wonderful dog, but she still has not been adopted.
Right. They just don't get, they can't hear.
Right.
So they're not as easy to train in people's minds. You just have to use hand signals, and it's a little bit more patience. But they can be great dogs. I've had several deaf dogs as patients over the years who are wonderful, wonderful
I would think one of the benefits, maybe, not that it's for sure, but that a deaf dog might be a little quieter than another dog. I know deaf dogs bark, but this one doesn't. And maybe part of it, she doesn't hear anything.
Right, but the other thing is that you have to think that maybe a deaf dog barks a whole lot more because they're not bothering themselves.
That's true as well. That's good.
know.
So it could go either way, but I thought maybe a deaf dog would bark less.
Maybe.
This one does. I haven't been around a lot of them, so interesting. All right, listen, we've got the first caller of the new year.
Awesome.
It is so exciting. The first caller of the new year is Jerry. Wow, Jerry, good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
How are you, Jerry? Happy New Year, and you are the first caller to MorningLine, the flagship of the Plus of the new year, 2015. Right. It is awesome that you called in. Good morning. What's your question, my friend?
Happy New Year to y'all, Nick.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask the vet. We have a black cocker spaniel, and no matter how many times you give him a bath, we give him a bath in the oatmeal shampoo, and he has a body odor. Is there anything you can do about that?
Have you been to see your vet about it?
What does your veterinarian say? Did you mention it to them, the body odor?
Did you mention it to the veterinarian? No, sure I haven't.
Okay, well, you may want to take him in for an exam. There can be skin infections and just skin gland, oil gland problems that may be able to be addressed by your veterinarian. They may help with some medications or a medicated shampoo or something like that. So anytime your dog or cat has a change, a body odor, a new behavior, anything like that, you really want to take them in to see your vet and talk to them about it, because as much as I can give you ideas about it, it's really hard without seeing the dog and looking at the skin and looking at the fur and seeing what's going on.
Now, Jerry mentioned he uses, I think, probably a pet shampoo that has oatmeal.
Which is
talk about the different types of shampoos for pets.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Right. And so the over-the-counter ones, there's typically your soothing ones, and then they'll sell medicated ones, and then they'll sell flea and tick ones. The flea and tick ones, truthfully, I don't know the last time I've used a flea and tick shampoo because we have such great topicals now and oral medications for flea and ticks. Those are kind of going by the wayside. But the medicated shampoos that you can get over the counter at the pet stores really don't have that much medicine in them because they're over the counter. You know, in order to have a pretty decent amount, they have to be prescription. And if you don't really know what you're treating, you don't really know what medicated shampoo to get. So for the most part, I think that the oatmeal, the aloe and oatmeal is kind of a big one. Those are great, soothing, very gentle shampoos that I think is probably good for just about everybody, unless your veterinarian has said, hey, your dog has this issue, we need to be using this medicated shampoo.
Okay, and would you say, too, for Jerry, though, the bottom line is there aren't dogs out there that genetically have bad odor. If there's some kind of odor, there's probably something going on that could be corrected to get rid of the odor, right?
Hopefully it can be corrected. Sometimes dogs can have issues with their skin that we can't really fix it. We can only maintain it and try to control it.
Then could you mask the odor?
Maybe. You know, we need to go to the vet and see what's going on so that they can say, oh, wow, this is a skin infection, this is this, you know, or try to help them take care of it.
Should we also say for folks who give their dogs baths, stay away from human shampoos just because they're harsher?
They are, and you know, I recommend that unless your vet has told you to bathe more frequently. I'm really a fan of maybe every 2 weeks, maybe once a month, you know, 2 weeks. 1 week if your dog really regularly gets dirty. Puppies are hard because puppies are always getting dirty. But we can, if we're using too harsh of a shampoo or a person shampoo, we can really strip out the oils that they use to kind of keep their coat happy and healthy and create more problems by bathing too frequently. I don't think Jerry's doing that. I think that, you know, he's trying to combat, you know, something going on with his dog. But for the general dog who doesn't seem to have any skin issues, you know, every 2 weeks. Some people really like to keep those puppies clean, but you know, I think every 2 weeks or once a month is probably okay, so we're not drying out the
skin. Good. So Jerry, I guess the best advice on that is next time you go back to the vet, just mention the odor, let the vet check it out.
Make an appointment to take them in about the skin.
Yeah, take them in and just have them check. And it doesn't mean it'll necessarily be some huge expense. It could be something very basic.
You never know.
Have to find out what it is. All right, let's go next to Dave. Dave, good morning. Hi, Dave.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dave. What can we do for you?
Good to see you back.
Thank you.
And I want to talk about cats.
Okay. Do it to it.
All right. How do you tell if someone has contracted scabies?
If a cat's contracted scabies?
Don't know.
Oh, you want to know if...
What's going on with the cat?
Yeah. What makes you think that?
Well, he's scratching at his neck a lot. Got a little scaby spot here and there.
Okay. More than likely, your cat has fleas as opposed to scabies. Fleas are a whole lot more common than scabies, and scratching around the neck and having scabies everywhere, kind of here and there, and sometimes chewing at their tail base, kind of on the back of right above their tail. A lot of times that can be from fleas, so you may want to take them in and have your vet take a look at them. And make sure you're on a good flea control.
Yeah, so she could also be allergic to the fleas too, right? Sometimes cats get allergic to the bites.
Cats can be allergic to fleas. I think he probably would be seeing a whole lot more than just a few little scabies.
Dave, did you say, well, you didn't mention this, but does your cat have flea control? Do you use anything like that on her?
Yes. Once a month, got the
Advantage or Frontline or something like that?
Yeah. They use the Front Guard or something like that, bought from Walmart.
Okay. And are you doing it even though it's wintertime?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of times people will take a step back. Well, I might still say that it very well may be fleas. A lot of times the over-the-counter products that are the generic versions or imitation versions of Frontline or Advantage don't seem to have the flea coverage that the prescription versions have, or they may not last quite as long. So you may want to look at that and see if you can actually get some Advantage or some Frontline. Those are the two really the good ones that I've had lots of luck with. But you may want to look at those and see if maybe you want to switch your flea control. And if you don't think it's fleas at all, and I'm not by any means saying your cat is flea ridden, but it can take just a couple of fleas to really send a cat over the edge if they're allergic, and so they can be scratching and itching and have already found that flea and eaten it. So they track them down and they eat them and they get rid of them. So, but they can still be itchy from the bites. So if you really don't think it's fleas at all, then you may want to have your vet take a look and see what they can find.
Boy, they really have come a long way on flea and tick control.
They really
Gosh,
have.
I remember as a kid,
Right.
I
You
had my
to dip
kitty cat.
it.
Yeah, dumpling cake.
You
Dumpling
and the
cake.
names of your animals.
Yeah, dumpling cake. We would dust her with stuff, and it just like it made you sick.
Please
I
tell
think it
me you
made
had
her
a
sick.
sister that named it that. Or
No,
you
that was mine.
Really?
Dumpling cake. It was a little female cat. Dumpling cake and baby Huey. Yeah, two, baby Huey and then Claus.
You named.
Huey was named after our cat. My son's named after.
right.
No, his middle name's Houston, so he wasn't.
Okay.
But no, dumpling cake.
Really
You just
concerned me
poof,
there for a minute.
and she would just be poofed with this powder. And the thing about what she's talking about, you have to have a prescription to get Advantage or
No,
Frontline.
Advantage and Frontline are over the
That's
counter
what I
now.
thought. They were over the
They're just
counter.
more expensive than the
Right.
generic ones hanging right next to it, and we all look at things and we all go, oh, I'm going to get this one. It's less expensive, and we all have learned the lesson over the years.
Most often you get what you, and I've tried both. I've tried
Right.
both. I do the same thing that I've been to these places where you see them, and I'll do both. And I'll tell you, it is a little
It's
more
worth the
expensive, but
money.
once a month. We do it on our dogs, and we have not had a problem with fleas ever,
know.
and we used to, and none. And just getting rid of it, it's awesome, and it's nothing. It's a little bit on
I
their
know.
neck and down
Well,
the
then
back.
now there's other products like Comfortus, which is a pill which
Yeah.
kills fleas within 4 hours. I love it.
Yep.
I've gone to that away from the topicals for fleas because I think it's so easy, and especially for people who have small children in the house.
Sure.
They don't want to have to worry about the topicals.
Touching it and all that. All right, so there's a lot of options out there. Just ask your vet about it, but the ones that really work, really work. We'll take a break. If you want to call us, give us a little call, 737-7587. Lines open, Morning Line, taking your calls for Allison Fields. Not for me, but for Allison, because she's here to answer your questions about your pets. Back with more right after this.